TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the IDF has eliminated the mastermind of the October 7th massacre, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar in the Gaza Strip. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant points to Hezbollah's state of distress as the IDF continues to deepen its operational gains. IRGC Commander Hussein Salami threatens Jerusalem with a robust response to any Israeli retaliatory strike against Iran. The leader of the Islamist Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, who is credited with the planning and execution of the October 7th onslaught on southern Israel last year, to include the massacre of some 1,200 mostly civilians, the wounding over 4,800 others, and the kidnapping of approximately 250 elderly men, women, children, and infants, was successfully eliminated. During an IDF operation in the Gaza Strip earlier today, the IDF said it eliminated 3 terror operatives and that it was checking whether one of them included Yahya Sinwar. A couple of hours later, an announcement was made confirming the terrorists' confirmed demise. The dramatic announcement of Yahya Sinwar's elimination came nearly a day after a senior Hamas official, Basil Naim, who formerly served as the terror group's health minister in the Gaza Strip, gave an interview in which he clearly sought to ratchet up pressure on the United States to force Israel to end its defensive war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
How can I understand that at the time the Americans are calling for more aid and calling for more humanitarian relief, and at the same time they are sending billions and billions of dollars? There is still a chance to go for implementation of this broker deal if the Americans say it is enough, we have to stop here.
The Hamas official went on to highlight that his terror group continues to believe that the wars in both the Gaza Strip and in Lebanon are interconnected, and therefore any ceasefire for Lebanon would require a ceasefire in Gaza first.
I think it is so complicated and so intermingled, the two fronts, that it is not easy to reach a permanent ceasefire or a permanent solution to this conflict without solving the original one, which is in Gaza.
Meanwhile, in Beirut, Member of Parliament of the Iranian proxy Hezbollah, Hassan Fadlallah, asserted that his terror group was holding talks with the Lebanese government in order to reach a ceasefire with Israel.
The
Speaker of Parliament, Nabi Berri, and the Prime Minister, Najib Mikati, are negotiating with the international mediators in order to reach a cessation of aggression, and today they are seeking to reach a ceasefire stage. This file is being followed up carefully and in full coordination between the leadership of Hezbollah and the President of the Republic, Berri. We are not going to go into any details about this matter, but it is in the hands of the political efforts that are taking place on more than one level.
The Hezbollah lawmaker went on to stress that while negotiations are taking place, the Iranian proxy is determined to continue fighting against Israel.
The resistance leadership's choice is to continue fighting with all means necessary for the confrontation in order to prevent the enemy from achieving its goals and force it to stop its aggression.
Meanwhile, the IDF is continuing to deepen its operational achievements along the South Lebanese border region, degrading capabilities of the Iranian proxy Hezbollah in dozens of villages that were essentially turned into forward bases of the Iran-led terror group. During a situational assessment with brigadier commanders who operate in southern Lebanon, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant highlighted some of the operational achievements that were attained in recent weeks.
As a matter of fact, The power which you operate and the professional manner in which it is applied brought about the withdrawal of Hezbollah from a large part of the places, and in parallel, there are very few fatalities throughout the sector, including in your sector. Many of Hezbollah's operatives have been eliminated, both in close range and from the air. The operational activity in the overall sector generates prisoners, which is an expression of two things. First, the speed and success of the IDF, and second, the collapse of Hezbollah. That surrenders eventually, and we are interrogating and learning many things that we could not have produced in a different way, and these will be serve us in the near future.
Jerusalem's top defense official went on to underscore the dramatic achievement of largely dismantling Hezbollah's missile array, which wreaked havoc upon Israel's northern communities for an entire year.
The success, as I regard it, over the past month in particular, is a phenomenal success in respect to what had happened, from the elimination of Nasrallah, along with the communications and intelligence infrastructure, subterranean sites, and, of course, the liquidation of Radwan's top echelons, which is unable to manage a battle for the installations in which you are working. Also, Hezbollah's company and battalion commanders on the front lines are eliminated via airstrikes and through your operational activity. And, of course, the thwarting of their missile array. Just think that all of this should have been done under massive fire. Their whole missile array collapses, and it reveals the great distress that Hezbollah is currently embroiled in.
Defense Minister Gallant further expanded on Hezbollah's deepening distress, which disrupts the Iranian proxy's capacity to hinder the IDF's operational activities throughout southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah is in a very significant state of distress. There is no one to command, and when they find someone, until he gives an order, there is no one to execute that order, and if in the end someone performs the order and clicks the button, either the rocket does not launch, or there are no means to perform the order, and you see what happens. Another aspect, which is very important, is the quantity of munitions which you are locating, which completely justifies the action. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Cornet missiles were taken out of the battlefield throughout the entire sector. This is very impressive. However, on the other hand, it teaches us about their current state.
The Israeli defense minister continued by stressing Israel's resolve to push Hezbollah out of southern Lebanon to ensure that Israel's northern residents would be able to safely return to their homes.
When I say to return the residents with security, it means we push it out. The connection between weakening Hezbollah to pushing it back from the border fence will enable the return of the residents in certain conditions. Negotiations on this we will conduct under fire. I've said this from day one. I've said so in Gaza, and I've said so here as well. This is our lever.
It is important to note that the IDF, in accordance with Defense Minister Yoav Gallant's pledge to destroy every Lebanese village, which Hezbollah developed into a forward base earlier this week, razed a terror-infested village to the ground in the area of Kana of southern Lebanon. Meanwhile, in response to a question about the IDF operation related to that village, U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller asserted the Biden administration would like to see Israel avoid destroying civilian buildings, irrespective of the terror infrastructure located within or underneath it.
So I've seen the footage. I cannot speak to what their intent was or what they were trying to accomplish, what their targets were. I don't know what they were. Obviously, we do not want to see entire villages destroyed. We don't want to see civilian homes destroyed. We don't want to see civilian buildings destroyed. We understand that Hezbollah does operate at times from underneath civilian homes, inside civilian homes. We've seen footage that has emerged over the course of the past 2 weeks of rockets and other military weapons held in civilian homes. So Israel does have a right to go after those legitimate targets, but they need to do so in a way that protects civilian infrastructure, protects civilians.
Meanwhile, in Iran, IRGC Commander-in-Chief Hussein Salami, during a funeral procession of the Quds Force deputy commander who was eliminated alongside Hassan Nasrallah in Beirut a couple of weeks ago, threatened Israel not to follow through on its anticipated retaliatory strike against Iranian targets on Iranian soil in response to the 181 ballistic missiles that the IRGC had launched toward Israel on October 1st earlier this month.
If our national sovereignty is violated and our guest in Tehran is martyred, we will target you, Israel, on your own soil. We do not engage in pleasantries regarding this matter. We say it now, and you are aware that when we say it, we take action. Be careful not to make a mistake again. If you do, and target us in any way, whether in the region or in Iran, we will strike you in a painful manner again.
General Salami went on to warn Israel also that its aerial defense array would not be successful in the next Iranian attack on Israel, nor would the American THAAD system, which is currently being incorporated into Israel's aerial defense array, provide for additional protection.
We wanted to tell you not to rely on your missile shield. This shield is not a reliable stronghold for you. We will cross through it. You may imagine that that can compensate for your shortcomings in defending you. This is a mistake. Do not trust the tubes of these launchers. You cannot massacre Muslim nations, but remain safe, secure, and live in peace. No, that cannot happen.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Separately, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider supporting our programs with a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'd like also to seize this opportunity to thank all of you who do support TV7 Israel, both monthly or intermittently. We couldn't do any of those productions without your help, and therefore a simple thank you is due. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Chag Sukkot Sameach ve'erev mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.